In the sun-scorched Serengeti, where the horizon blurs into a sea of gold, a new legend was born, not of roaring kings, but of a silent shadow that moved with the wind. Here, beneath the relentless African sun, the grasslands hold secrets, and among them, a story unlike any other began to unfold. Kashka, a lone male, moved like a phantom through the territories of powerful coalitions. His coat was unmarked by battle, his steps so light that even the birds barely noticed his passing. He was a master of the unseen, slipping between shadows and sunlight, always just out of reach. To the other lions he was not a rival, but a mystery. The shadow, more felt than seen. His presence was a whisper on the wind, a flicker at the edge of vision, unsettling those who ruled by force. His presence was a subtle pressure, unsettling even the most dominant males. They felt him before they saw him, a chill that crept along their spines, a sense that the land itself was watching. While others roared to declare their rule, Kashka claimed his domain with silence and stealth. He moved with purpose, never wasting energy, always calculating, always aware of every shift in the wind and every rustle in the grass. He would appear briefly at waterholes, amber eyes gleaming in the fading light, then vanish into the grass as if he were never there. His comings and goings were unpredictable, leaving only paw prints and questions behind. The reigning coalition grew uneasy, finding their scent marks faintly overwritten, their borders breached by an invisible force. Each morning, they discovered subtle signs that their territory was not as secure as they believed. Kashka's psychological warfare turned their kingdom into a realm of uncertainty. The mighty were made to question their strength, their confidence eroded by an adversary they could not confront. His legend spread, a lion who ruled without scars or roars, commanding respect through elusiveness. Stories of his cunning and composure traveled on the wind, growing with each retelling. Lionesses whispered tales of the shadow to their cubs, a king who defied the laws of lion society. They spoke of his patience, his intelligence, and the way he seemed to know every secret path and hidden hollow in the vast savannah. Strength and size were the usual currencies of power, but Kashka's was patience, intelligence, and mastery of the land. He understood that true dominance was not always loud or violent, but could be quiet, strategic, and enduring. He was a testament to a new kind of strength, one born not of muscle, but of mind. In the endless grasslands, Kashka became more than a lion. He became a legend, a ghost whose story would outlast even the loudest of roars. Kashka's journey began not with a roar, but a whimper. In the vast golden grasslands, his first cries were barely heard above the wind. From the very start, life demanded more of him than most. Born the smallest of his litter, he was often pushed aside, forced to survive on scraps. Each meal was a battle, and every day, he grew a little thinner, a little more determined to find his own way. While his siblings fought for attention, Kashka watched from the fringes, learning to be invisible. He became a silent observer, studying the pride's every move, memorizing the patterns of their lives. The pride had little time for the weak, and his mother, overwhelmed, could offer little protection. Her attention was divided, and Kashka often found himself alone, seeking comfort in the shadows. When a new coalition violently took over, Kashka's ability to disappear saved him. While others fell to the chaos, he slipped away, unnoticed, his small size now a blessing. Alone and barely a year old, he faced a world of predators and danger. The savannah was unforgiving, filled with threats at every turn, hyenas, leopards, and even the harsh sun. But his hardship became his training ground. Every challenge was a lesson, every narrow escape a step toward survival. He learned to live on the periphery, relying on no one but himself. Hunger taught him patience, and solitude sharpened his instincts. Every sound was a threat, every shadow a warning. The rustle of grass could mean danger, and the night brought new fears. Yet instead of breaking, he adapted, sharpening his senses, learning the rhythms of the savannah. He mapped secret paths, timed his movements, and learned to read the language of the wild. He survived by choosing stealth over strength, moving like a shadow, always alert, always calculating his next move. His frailty became his guide, forcing him to outthink rather than outfight. Each day, he grew wiser, his mind as sharp as his claws. The outcast cub was forging the skills of a future legend. In the silence of his solitude, Kashka was becoming something extraordinary, a survivor destined to leave his mark on the savannah. For Kashka, survival meant mastering invisibility. He could not fight, so he learned to vanish. The savannah became his classroom, its dangers, his teachers. He studied the mongoose and leopard, adapting their tricks to his own needs. His coat blended with the grass, his steps silent and deliberate. He used the wind, always approaching from downwind, never leaving a trace. When danger loomed, he froze, becoming part of the landscape. He mapped every trail, waterhole, and patrol route in his mind. Knowledge became his power. He was always one step ahead. While others relied on force, Kashka ruled through information and anticipation. His mane stayed modest, his presence barely noticed. His reputation grew not from what was seen, but from what was never found. Kashka's true strength was in his absence, a ghostly presence, always watching. Kashka's greatest teachers were his rivals. From the shadows, he studied the powerful coalitions, learning their strengths, and, more importantly, their weaknesses. Their loud patrols revealed their locations, letting Kashka move freely. He saw their unity was also a source of friction. Minor squabbles and distractions created opportunities. He learned from their hunting mistakes, valuing patience and precision over brute force. Kashka adapted, targeting the vulnerable and avoiding wasteful chases. He decoded their scent marks and roars, predicting their actions like a master spy. He lived among them, unseen, understanding their world better than they did. Without ever fighting, he exploited their patterns and vulnerabilities. Kashka became a silent scholar, turning enemy strength into his own advantage. As Kashka matured, he became a masterful, unseen hunter. Every movement was calculated, every step a lesson learned from years of survival in the wild. He understood the rhythm of the savannah, blending seamlessly into the landscape, invisible to both prey and rival predators. He hunted alone, relying on intellect and patience rather than brute force. While other lions roared and charged, Kashka preferred to wait, to watch, to let opportunity come to him. His solitary nature made him unpredictable, a shadow among the grass. Night was his ally. Under the new moon he moved unseen, his eyes piercing the darkness. The cover of night gave him an advantage, allowing him to approach without being detected, his golden eyes reflecting only the faintest glimmer of starlight. He watched herds for hours, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Sometimes, he would lie motionless, barely breathing, as the world moved around him. His patience was legendary, a testament to his discipline and focus. His attacks were swift and precise, no wasted energy, no long chases. Each hunt was a display of efficiency, a burst of power only when success was certain. Kashka knew that survival depended on conserving strength for the next opportunity. Kashka was also a skilled thief, timing his moves to steal from leopards and cheetahs. He watched from the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to claim another's hard-earned meal, never risking a direct fight unless he was sure of victory. He never challenged coalitions directly, instead scavenging what they left behind. He understood the dangers of open conflict, choosing instead to survive by wit and timing, always alert to the shifting balance of power. He took only what he needed, wasting nothing. Every scrap of meat was precious, every meal a victory in a harsh and unforgiving world. Through stealthy hunting and opportunistic scavenging, he thrived. Kashka's ability to adapt, to shift between hunter and scavenger, set him apart from others. His strength and health were maintained without costly battles. He grew powerful not through dominance but through wisdom and restraint, his body a testament to his survival skills. Kashka's survival was a blend of cunning, patience, and adaptability. He learned to read the land, to sense danger before it arrived, and to change his tactics as needed. He was a ghostly predator, feared not for his roar but for his silence. His legend grew with every silent hunt, every unseen approach, every meal taken without a sound. In the shadows, he became the savannah's most elusive hunter, a master of stealth, a phantom in the tall grass, and a true survivor of the wild. Kashka's rise to power was an infiltration, not a conquest. While coalitions fought bloody wars, Kashka quietly annexed their neglected borders. He used chaos as cover, claiming land while others battled for dominance. His takeovers were silent, no roars, no fights, just a growing presence. He chased off lone lionesses, stole kills, and created uncertainty on the periphery. By the time the wars ended, much of the territory was already his. The new kings, exhausted and confused, found his scent everywhere. They chose to avoid conflict with the ghostly ruler. Kashka's kingdom was born not from violence but from whispers and absence. He ruled a vast domain, unseen and unchallenged. Kashka's face was a smooth, unblemished mask in a world of scarred warriors. His rivals wore their battles on their faces. Kashka's history was written in the land he controlled. He never fought face to face, avoiding the risks of wounds and infection. For him, power was about intellect and patience, not brute force. His lack of scars became a source of myth and fear. Other lions could not understand how he ruled without fighting. His clean face was more intimidating than any battle-worn visage. Nomads found his scent but never saw him, feeling his presence but never meeting him. This psychological dominance deterred challengers more effectively than violence. Kashka's scarless reign was a quiet testament to the triumph of mind over muscle. He was an unknown force, unpredictable and untouchable. In the savannah, his legend grew, a king who ruled without scars or bloodshed. Kashka's rule broke every rule of lion society. Most males fight for a pride, but Kashka ruled alone, uninterested in traditional power. He did not form a coalition or claim a permanent pride. His throne was the land itself, and he sat upon it alone. Lionesses noticed him, but his interactions were brief and cautious. He sometimes mated, but never stayed, his solitary instincts too strong. His legacy was not in cubs, but in redefining leadership. His territory became a safe corridor for many animals, including other lions. Prides and nomads could pass through, as long as they respected his quiet rule. Kashka maintained order, acting as a warden rather than a patriarch. His existence baffled researchers. He was a king without a pride, a ruler through absence. While others fought and defended, Kashka lived in quiet control. His throne was lonely, but it was entirely his. Kashka's story ended as quietly as it began. He simply faded away. He left no dynasty, but a powerful idea. Intelligence can outlast strength, and silence can be mightier than a roar. His influence lingered, the region remained peaceful, and younger lions adopted his tactics. Kashka had changed the social fabric of the savannah's top predator. His legend became local folklore, a king who ruled without scars. Guides told stories of the silent strategist, the lion who outwitted all rivals. He became a symbol of adaptation and resilience. Kashka's life proved that victory belongs to the quiet, the observant, the intelligent. His reign posed a question: is true strength crushing enemies or having none at all? The king who ruled with a whisper left an indelible mark on the African plains. In the moonlit Serengeti, one name haunted the night: Kashka. His legend drifted on the wind, whispered by those who dared to cross the open plains after dusk. He wasn't the largest lion, nor the loudest, but his power was chilling. He was a whisper in the grass, a shadow unseen. Even the bravest animals felt a shiver when his presence crept near, for Kashka was a master of the unseen. Kashka's legend grew not from battles but from the emptiness he left behind. Where he walked, the world seemed to pause, as if the savannah itself held its breath. Hyenas fell silent, jackals grew wary. His presence was felt in the hush that swept the plains. Even the insects seemed to quiet, as if nature itself respected his silent reign. Unlike other lions, Kashka thrived in darkness, his mane blending into the night, his amber eyes glinting with intelligence. He was a creature of the twilight, perfectly adapted to the world between light and shadow. He was lean, graceful, and moved with unnerving silence. Each step was calculated, every movement a testament to his mastery of stealth. Stories spread, a calf vanished, a rival defeated without a sound. Kashka was more spirit than flesh. His legend grew with every unexplained disappearance, every silent victory. His reign was marked by absence, his territory claimed by the silence he commanded. The emptiness he left behind was more powerful than any roar. Animals learned to read the quiet, a frozen herd, a night gone still, signs the phantom was near. The wise ones knew to heed the warning of the windless night. He was the ghost of the Serengeti, a king crowned by moonlight, ruling the vast, silent night. His kingdom was not marked by borders, but by the hush that followed in his wake. Kashka's power was primal, the fear of the unseen, the rustle in the grass, the sudden hush. It was the ancient terror that made hearts race and eyes search the darkness. He didn't need to roar, his silence was absolute. In that silence he was more powerful than any beast that bellowed into the night. In the end, Kashka was the shadow that ruled the savannah, a legend woven from darkness. His story lingers in the quiet, a reminder that sometimes the most powerful presence is the one you never see. Kashka's genius shone brightest when the world slept, when the savannah was cloaked in deep velvety darkness. The night was his domain, every hunt a silent ballet, choreographed with precision and grace beneath the stars. He moved with impossible stealth, using the wind and land to cloak his approach, each step calculated to avoid even the faintest sound. While others chased noisily, Kashka stalked for hours, waiting for the perfect moment, his patience as deep as the night itself. His dark mane became the ultimate camouflage under the stars, making him nearly invisible to unsuspecting eyes. He preferred moonless nights, when darkness sharpened his senses and the world seemed to hold its breath. He could pinpoint the faintest breath, the softest footfall, and the subtle rustle of prey moving through the grass. His attacks were swift, silent and final, no chase, no struggle, just a sudden end in the darkness. Kashka studied his prey, using patience and the landscape to funnel victims into his path, turning the terrain into an ally. He waited, sometimes all night, for the right opportunity, never wasting energy on a careless move. His hunts were calculated, energy efficient, and rarely failed, a testament to his mastery of the night. By mastering the art of the silent kill, Kashka turned the night into his time of absolute power, ruling when others slept. He was not just a lion of the night. He was the night itself, a living shadow moving through the darkness. The savannah's creatures learned to fear the darkness, for in it, Kashka reigned supreme, the undisputed master of the midnight hunt. Kashka ruled unlike any lion before him. While others fought loudly for dominance, he used stealth and psychological warfare. He entered new territories unseen, studying rivals from the shadows. Subtle acts, vanished kills, strange scents, unsettled resident males. Anxiety spread, energy was wasted searching for a phantom. When confrontation came, it was on Kashka's terms. Swift, silent, overwhelming. Often a rival vanished before help arrived, survivors fled, broken by fear. Kashka's reign was built on strategy, not brute force. Prides under his rule lived in quiet apprehension, his presence felt but rarely seen. Lionesses adapted to their ghostly king, rivals avoided his land. His borders were marked by silence, not roars. To cross into Kashka's territory was to enter a world ruled by the unseen. He proved that the greatest threat is the one you never see. His kingdom was forged in darkness, sustained by the fear of the unknown. Kashka was a king whose power lay in the shadows. Kashka's greatest weapon was fear itself. It was not his claws or his teeth that made him a legend, but the invisible force he cast over the savannah. Fear seeped into every shadow, every whisper of grass and every cautious step taken by his rivals. His name became a warning, a chilling presence in the minds of lions and hyenas alike. Even the wind seemed to carry stories of his power, spreading unease through the night. Young males avoided his territory, haunted by tales of rivals who vanished without a fight. The mere rumor of his approach was enough to scatter would-be challengers, leaving his domain eerily quiet. Even hyena clans, usually bold, grew silent at his scent, leaving his kills untouched. The bravest scavengers hesitated, their confidence crumbling in the face of his reputation. Legends grew, some said he was invisible, others that he never slept. His presence became a ghostly force, always felt but rarely seen. The unknown made him terrifying. Animals projected their worst fears onto his myth. In the darkness, every sound became a threat, every shadow a warning. Kashka ruled not by constant battle, but by making challenge unthinkable. His dominance was so complete that few dared even to test his strength. His psychological dominance let him conserve energy, avoid wounds, and live longer. He thrived while others wore themselves out in endless conflict. He created a buffer zone of terror, a space where he was undisputed master. No other predator dared cross the invisible line he drew in the grass. His reign was peaceful, not from kindness, but from the depth of fear he inspired. The savannah was quiet, not because it was safe, but because it was ruled by dread. Kashka understood the mind was a battlefield, and on it, he was undefeated. He mastered the art of intimidation, turning every glance and every silence into a weapon. His genius was making fear do the work of 100 battles. He let his legend travel ahead of him so that most enemies surrendered before the fight began. In the savannah, his legend grew with every silent, unseen victory. Kashka's true power was not just in his strength, but in the way he shaped the very thoughts of those who lived in his shadow. Kashka's true strength was his mind. In a world of brute force, he was a strategist, a chess master on the savannah. He avoided risky fights, always planning, always waiting for certainty. He analyzed herds, targeting the weak or isolated, never gambling on a dangerous chase. The landscape became his ally. He used gullies, thickets, and riverbanks to his advantage. Timing was everything. He hunted with the migration after rain or on windy nights. Kashka played the long game, letting rivals exhaust each other before making his move. He claimed territory not with violence but with subtle, calculated pressure. Even in conflict, he exploited opportunities, expanding his domain with minimal risk. His intelligence set him apart, a quiet manipulator, always a step ahead. Kashka proved that patience and strategy could outlast strength. He was a master of survival, shaping the world to his will. In the end, his mind was his sharpest weapon. Most legendary lions ruled with scars and thunderous roars. Scarface and the Majingalan coalition were kings of brute force, their reigns written in blood. Kashka was their opposite, a king of silence and shadows. His power was not in public battles but in the mysterious vanishing of rivals. Where others used strength, Kashka used patience and intelligence. He waited, studied, and struck only when victory was certain. His kingdom was maintained by fear, not violence. Kashka's legacy was a quiet one, but it challenged the very idea of what it means to be king. He showed that stealth could be stronger than strength, and the unknown more terrifying than any roar. While others left stories of epic battles, Kashka left a legend of mystery and awe. He was a phantom king, a master of a silent, deadly game. His reign redefined power in the wild. Kashka proved the quietest presence can cast the longest shadow. Time caught up with Kashka, as it does with all kings. His mane grayed, his movements slowed, but his mind remained sharp. Sensing his strength fading, he chose to vanish before rivals could challenge him. He left his pride quietly, returning to the life of a solitary nomad. There was no final battle, no defeat, just a dignified retreat into the shadows. In his twilight years, Kashka survived by cunning, hunting smaller prey and scavenging with care. He avoided danger, relying on experience rather than strength. Even old, he was never seen begging or fleeing. He remained proud and self-sufficient. Kashka was a king in exile, carrying his legend with quiet dignity. Other old lions met tragic ends, but Kashka endured, haunting the edges of the world he once ruled. His solitude was not defeat, but a final act of mastery. He lived and faded on his own terms. The Phantom King became a true ghost of the savannah. Kashka's end was as mysterious as his life. One season his tracks lingered at the savannah's edge, the next they vanished. No one found his body, he simply disappeared, like mist at sunrise. His death became legend. Some said he became a spirit, others that he found a secret graveyard for kings. The silence he left behind was soon filled by the chaos of ordinary life. The delicate balance of fear he maintained vanished, replaced by noisy struggles for power. Yet those who remembered him knew something unique was lost. Kashka's story became a cautionary tale, a symbol of intelligence over arrogance. His legacy transformed into timeless legend, a quiet rebellion against the brutal world. By vanishing without a trace, he remained undefeated, a phantom forever. The savannah was less mysterious without him, but his legend endured. Kashka became the eternal shadow, the king who was never truly seen. Kashka's story endures because it reveals a deeper truth about power. He showed that dominance isn't always loud. True strength can be silent, strategic, and unseen. His reign was a chess game, his victories measured in the battles he never had to fight. Kashka's silence chilled rivals and commanded respect across the plains. He proved that understanding and patience are mightier than brute force. His legend became savannah folklore, a tale whispered on the wind. Kashka was a philosopher king, a master of the unseen. His life challenges our ideas of what it means to rule. He was not just a lion, but an idea, the silent roar that echoes forever. In the world of survival, imagination and fear can be the greatest power of all.